Hello, everyone. This is your host, Susan Rosen, and my guest today is Richard Hirsch. And he is here, and he has an interesting background and an interesting product that he wants to talk about. And I think it's a very important one as well. And so I'm going to ask Richard to first welcome Richard and give us a little overview before we get down into the details.
Sure, Susan. Thank you for having me on the podcast. Really appreciate the opportunity to both help people and kind of share our company's story at the same time. Hopefully it's fun and interesting and helpful.
I'm sure.
So again, my name is Richard Hirsch, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer for a company called Unaliwear. And I'll explain a little bit why we named the company that.
Okay, why don't you spell it first for people so they know?
So it sounds like YouTube, so it's Unaliwear, but it's spelled Unaliwear, Unaliwear.
Okay.
And I'll explain that in a second. But we are in the medical alert space, which most people think about if they haven't done any research in this category for themselves or for a loved one. They generally think about it as the I fall and I can't get up space, right? Because that's the famous tagline that has helped to define the industry.
Mm-hmm.
But our company's taken a very, very different tack to this category. And really what I wanted to do today is, I think there's probably a lot of your listeners who either have looked into this product category of medical alerts for themselves or for their loved one, or they maybe have talked about it. They might have done a little bit of research. It can be very, very overwhelming. There are a lot of options. There's a lot of companies out there where you call them on the phone and they won't let you off the phone until you buy. It's kind of a hard sell, situation, almost like buying a used car or buying like a penny stock. And so our company is really a mission-based company, and I'll explain that as well. And so we thought, yes, we can talk about our offering and why it's different and better, but also we want to talk about how people can arm themselves with the right information they need and the right questions to ask to be an educated and successful buyer or acquirer of a medical alert device for themselves, for their loved ones. So they actually get what they need versus what someone's trying to sell them.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll start by just kind of the broad stroke of when I say medical alert, what I mean,
right?
Because some people may not know what it is. So I mean, the way this industry works and what makes it unique, and it's been around now for decades, is the idea is you wear something around on your body. And it used to be that was just like a button, a help button. I think you said your mom had one of those at one point, right? And so you push that to get help, and sometimes that used to be connected to a separate, big thing that sat in your living room, was a communication device. Look like an oversized answering machine for those that actually know what an answering machine is, because that kind of dates you as well. And so the industry evolved from there, because that was initially it was really for only at home. And then it became a device you could wear on your body with the communicator on your body as well. And that became a mobile option. And when an alert happens, however an alert takes place on these devices, that gets sent automatically to a 24/7 monitoring center based in the US. And an agent gets that alert, and from that alert, they know who the wearer is, they know where the wearer is. They also have all the wearer's emergency contacts and medical information, and maybe like if the person is at home and they have a lockbox or a spare key.
Okay, that makes sense.
And they will try to talk to that wearer through whatever device they have. If that wearer is responsive, they can direct whatever care they need. So it could be, I need police, fire, or an ambulance, or it could be have my daughter come over and get the blankets in the top of the closet because I'm cold. So, major emergencies and minor emergencies. But the fact is they have like a 24/7 concierge on their wrist or on their body.
Yeah.
And so and what's interesting, and then of course, if they're not responsive, then the agent acts as their representative and get them the help they need, even if they can't communicate. So the weird thing about this industry, Susan, is that research shows that when you talk to people that have these devices, almost 90% of them say that they have actually helped them in an emergency.
Wow.
Or has prevented something from escalating to an emergency, like either one or the other, right?
Right.
So,
okay, yeah,
real value, really, really inexpensive insurance. Yet, pardon me, yet only about 8% of people, 65 or 70 and older, actually have one of these devices. So that's really weird, right? You have this device or the system that is, for the people that actually have it, are saying, hey, it literally is either saved my life, kept me out of the hospital, allowed me to stay at my home longer to avoid being in a nursing home. And yet so few people actually are choosing it. And historically, the reason why was because of what we would call the stigmatization factor, right?
Okay, yeah.
I don't want people to know I'm old. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
The older devices, really, you could easily mistakenly push a button. And of course, think of the situation where you're in the shower and you mistakenly push the button and the communicator is down in the living room.
Oh no.
And so the agent's trying to talk to you through that communicator.
Right.
And you're
They're going
actually
to
in your
send
shower.
out the ambulance and the police and everybody else. Oh my
We've
God.
heard that. So the industry is really has, I guess there's sort of two trends. One is the industry hasn't really evolved that much because they're happy kind of selling the same products that have been out there for a while.
Okay.
But there are some companies that have innovated. And we are one of those companies that have innovated in a way that tries to create a product that gives all those benefits and more, and does it in a way that doesn't require you to feel stigmatized. And and if you're not stigmatized, you're more likely to wear it. And the average person, the average person who gets that pendant wears it about 30% of the day. And because it's a choking hazard, rarely at night. That, you wouldn't get into your car with insurance where the insurance company says, we're going to protect you 30% of the time, randomly, and never at night. I don't think you would buy that insurance. And yet that's what people are buying when they get those devices. So the short story from that is that our company, Unaliwear, created something. It took about 5 years, and we've been out now for about 5 years, called the Kanaga watch. I don't know if you can see it, right? So it's a medical alert device.
Okay.
With fall detection.
Why don't we, for the people who are listening and aren't watching, it's a watch. It almost looks like an Apple Watch or something like that. It's that kind of larger, with the larger face and the larger band and all of that. So, so you really could, boy, your kids or whoever might think you're really in, because you've got this big watch.
It's possible. I mean, it's about the face, the size about the face of an Apple Watch, and it's not a dainty watch, but it also is a much more discreet alternative to a medical alert pendant.
Oh yeah, no. But my point is that nobody has to feel embarrassed.
Correct.
They got it on because nobody's going to know that that's what it is.
Correct. That's the whole point. So, so we make, and I'm surprised that we still say this, we make the only medical alert watch with fall detection that you never have to take off to charge. And that last part is really important because in the end, in order for these to be successful, you have to wear them. And every time you give someone a reason to take it off, they may not put it back on.
Yeah.
So there are other options out there where you take them off every 10 or 12 hours to charge for 2 hours. That's just asking a lot for someone to take off and put it back on. And what ends up happening is they take them off at night to charge at night. And of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
if they do that, then they're least protected when they need it the most.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. They get up to go to the bathroom and trip over something, and
Yep.
what good did it do
So
you then, right? Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, the thing is that the conversation that we're having, Susan, about what to do, what to choose, that was the conversation that our founder had with her mom. That's the
Mm,
kind of the origin story of this product.
okay.
So her mom was getting to the point where she needed to get one of these devices, and she wouldn't wear them. And so our founder, her name is Jean Ann Booth,
Hmm.
said, she had just sold her last company to Apple. And she goes, well, I have the engineers, I have the investors. I can't believe there's nothing on the market that does this. And actually, the Kanaga watch, which took 5 years to develop, actually came out before the Apple Watch in terms of its ability to have fall detection. So we were actually the
Ah,
first device on the market with fall detection on the wrist. And so it was incredible innovation. And even today, we're really the only product in the market that has fall detection that's actually designed to catch the falls of older adults because of how the product is designed. Everything
mm-hmm.
else out there is either a more general fall detector or more like a motion detection. Like if you move your arm really quickly, or you
Okay.
move your body really
They
quickly,
might
you sit
think
down
you're
fast in the
following.
chair. And so you can imagine the big challenge with fall detection is you want to catch the real falls, but
Hmm.
you can't activate on too many false falls, or the person's not going to wear it.
Right. Well, for good reason.
Yep.
I
So
wouldn't either.
that's really an engineering issue. So anyway,
Yes.
that was fixed in terms of, if you have data. I
Hmm.
don't want to get too nerdy here, but if you have data on what an actual fall looks like by thousands of wearers across the country
Uh-huh.
on the wrist, and you have that data, you can actually build a model and make that model smarter and smarter about what is a real fall and what is not a real fall, because you have all the data. So
That makes sense.
and that's what our company has been doing. So I think what I would say, and so I'll go back to the origin story. So it took about 5 years to create the Kanaga watch, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
explain the name behind it. So Unaliwear uses the word Unali from the Cherokee
Mm-hmm.
language, and
Okay.
Kanaga is also in the Cherokee language because Jean Ann and her mom are part Cherokee, part Native American.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Unali means friend in
Hmm.
Cherokee,
Uh-huh.
and Kanaga means speak. And so we're the friend that speaks to you,
Ah,
particularly in your time of need.
okay. Wow, that's neat.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
when people, when we started out, it was basically our company versus a lot of these pendant companies. And so
Mm-hmm.
and it's still that case today pretty much. And our big challenge is just making sure people know that we exist as an option, because they
Mm-hmm.
think that the only choice they have is to kind of be disappointed by a traditional medical or pendant. That's all they have available. And we want to help them understand that there are options out there, like our product,
Mm-hmm.
and that also, as they start to research this category, they want to make sure they ask the right questions for the wearer, as well as to the companies that they call, to make sure that they get what they need.
Okay. Yeah. Which makes a lot of sense, because especially if you're selling, countrywide, eventually worldwide, um, all of those change, right? Depending on where you are, and some places probably have more services than other places. And
Well, I think, to me, when we talk to
mm-hmm.
people, the first thing we ask them, because they generally don't know there are options like this, we say, well, how do you or your loved one, how do you want to wear the device? Like, what
Right.
is your preferred placement on the body?
Mm-hmm.
Because you want them to want to wear it. So some people say, I love necklaces, I'll wear a necklace. And we're like, you know what, if that's what you want, you're going to wear it regularly, then that's a better choice for you. But most people say they want to wear something on their wrist. They want the discrete
Yeah.
option. And
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if you're wearing something on your wrist and it's a watch, you're getting benefits every day, right? It tells time,
Yeah.
tells the date, medication reminders, things like that. So you have reasons for getting benefits every day and leaving it on.
It doesn't get your email?
Doesn't get your email. Again, try to keep it super simple.
I know. I'm just kidding.
I know. But I get it. We can talk about why the Apple Watch is both a good option and not a good option in this category. But
No, it's my husband has one and he's still yelling at it.
Yep. I get
You
it. I'll give you a tip about that in a second. But so I mean, once they decide how they want to wear it, the next question is, well, are you using it only in the home, or are you using it outside the home? And so the thing people don't think about with these products is that the vast majority of them only connect through a cellular connection.
Okay.
Now, again, I'm going to get a little geeky here, but when you come home with your cell phone, the vast majority of people put it on Wi-Fi. It automatically switches over to your home Wi-Fi. And why is that? Because cellular service in your home is not consistently reliable, because you have walls, you have ceilings, you have internal rooms that block the cellular signal, doesn't block Wi-Fi.
Right.
Every other company basically relies on a cellular signal, which is fine if you're outside. But if you're inside in your home, it may not work. And it's one thing if a call drops or you can't get through on your phone, because you're trying to place an order for food.
Yeah.
But if it's an emergency, that's a bad scenario. So we require, it hurts our sales, but it's important. We require our wearers to have home Wi-Fi because we think it's that critical. And what I would say to anybody that's listening or watching that has had a medical alert device for themselves or for a loved one, and they had an issue and it didn't work in their home, 90 times out of 100, it's because of this issue. They say, I fell, it didn't activate, or I pushed the button, I couldn't communicate with an operator. And think about where cell service is worse. In a basement.
Oh, yeah.
Inside a shower in an internal bathroom. Those are places where you're going to have the biggest challenge. So you want to make sure, that's why Wi-Fi is so critical. But of course, if you require Wi-Fi, you lower your sales and you make the process just a little bit more complicated to collect the Wi-Fi information for the wearer, because you want it all collected before the watch or any device actually gets sent out. Because you don't want them doing that work.
Right.
But it's the right thing to do. And it provides a much greater layer of protection where you need it most.
Right. Yeah. So out of curiosity, are you guys running up against a lot of people who don't have Wi-Fi? I mean, isn't that because most everybody's television, service comes with Wi-Fi. Now they may not know how to use it, but
right. And the nice thing is when I ask them to tell us how to use it, they give us their Wi-Fi credentials, the name of the Wi-Fi and the password. We store it securely in the watch. And they can also add additional Wi-Fi credentials if they go to visit their daughter or their son. They can add that as well. Yeah. But it's a really valuable extra overlay that no one else offers. And so what I would say to your listeners and your viewers is that if you get an alternative medical alert device that only runs on cellular, you want to do test calls in every room of your house at different times of the day and night to make sure it works everywhere, because it likely won't. And you should know where you're protected and where you're not protected.
Yeah. And unfortunately, if you're having an emergency, you're probably not going to remember that anyways.
That's true. But for a lot of people, they I'd say about 70 to 80% of the people that call us, a lot of people just go to our website and order, but that call us have Wi-Fi. About 20% don't. But of that 20%, when we tell them why it's important, more than half of them get it. They can just add it. They can add it to their cable bill, or they can get it separately. And so it's a really valuable feature. and again, I don't want to
Yeah.
get too geeky, but I think the
No.
takeaway for your listeners and viewers is that if you have one of these medical alert devices, or you're going to get one, do those test calls, because you need to know you're protected.
Right. Yes.
It may work. It may work in your house. You may be right next to a cell tower, and God bless you, but it may not.
Well, then
and if
you
it
have
doesn't,
then you have other issues, right?
correct. So that's the second thing to think about. And then, aside from, where you want to wear it, and do you have Wi-Fi? Other question is really around fall detection. How important is fall detection? And most people are getting these devices because they're visualizing a scenario, just like that company's famous tagline: they're going to fall and they can't get up, or they're unconscious. They've heard stories of people doing this on the floor for hours or days, sadly. So that is a real issue. And so, but the challenge, as I said up front, is that most of the devices that are out there that you can choose from have what's called a static fall detection model. It doesn't get smarter over time, and it's based on fake falls. So because they have no data on what actual fall looks like. Yeah. So if you hold it over your head and drop it on the ground, it'll go off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's not how anybody actually falls.
Not usually, no.
Right. So and that's the big challenge, pardon me, is that you have to both design a fall detection model that is good, really good at identifying real falls, but is almost equally good at not activating off of things that are not falls. And because there's no camera inside these devices, there's no little like gremlin inside looking to see if a fall. So it really is a predictive model. And so it's predictive, it's not observational. And so the only way you get good is with data on what an actual fall is, and when the watch thinks, or when our watch thinks you've fallen, and you tell the watch you haven't fallen, it records that and gets smarter over time. So our product we have a patented technology called RealFall.
Oh.
Right? So RealFall, we're the only ones that have it. And the technology ensures that we're much better at predicting and activating on real falls by older adults, because we have all that data on real falls by older adults. And in addition, it doesn't activate on movements that are not falls, what we would call false fall alerts. And the number one reason why people return these products is because the fall detection goes off too much. So the second piece of that, Susan, is almost as important as the first piece. Everyone focuses on the first piece. I want to make sure, but like, if you're so focused on making sure that it catches every fall, and you don't ever focus on the non-falls, well, then it'll go off 1,000 times a day, because anyone could design. If you just design a motion detector, then you'll get covered. It's like a clock that's right twice a day that's broken, right? You know, it's not very helpful. You get alerted every time. So anyway, we are really proud of this, as you could tell. The entire team is really proud of it. And we just got rated best for fall detection by the National Council on Aging.
That's great.
Best for fall detection by the New York Times Wirecutter. Best for fall detection by PC Magazine. And actually, I'm sorry, New York Times Wirecutter named us the only on-the-go mobile medical alert device they recommend is us.
Wow.
And
that's even better.
We're a relatively small company in this industry, so it really shocked the industry when that happened. It's like, an unexpected actor getting the Oscar, right? Or unexpected picture getting the Oscar. That's kind of what we got, and this happened in August. So
so did you guys get a big bump of people calling and being interested?
We did.
All right.
Yes, all that. And it's great. It's great. And all the momentum is moving in our direction, which is wonderful. But so, when people do research and they call other companies, some of them have been saying that fall detection can't be done on the wrist. Like you can't, it has to be done around the neck. And of course, you know,
Only
Apple
if you
Watch has
fall on
fall,
your head, but
right?
yeah.
It's crazy, right? It's great. So the industry tends to lie a lot about what it doesn't want people to know. And so there's that. And then, or the other thing to bear in mind is that if you have a device already that has fall detection, and you call up the company and say it's going off too often, if their only solution is to turn that off, that feature off, or to return it, you know you have the wrong company. Because you know the other thing that we can do as a company, our company can, because we have wearers that are 55 years old and play tennis, and our oldest wearer is 103.
Oh my God.
So how can you design a single fall detection model that is as effective for the person that they're doing overhead smashes on the tennis court, or the person whose largest activity is to lift the remote control? Right? Very, very different people. Very different people. But so what's happened is that the 55-year-old calls us up and says, I don't want the fall detection going off when I do overhead smashes. So we turn down the sensitivity of their watch remotely, their fall detection. We can do, and then when the woman who's 103 says, I really want as much protecting as possible, we turn up the sensitivity of the fall detection on her watch. So we have people all across the country that not only have a really great fall detection feature on their watch that's exclusive to us, but theirs can be high, middle, or low, and anywhere in between based upon what their needs are. And again, the reason why we do this is because if you get the settings matched to what you want, you're going to wear it.
Yeah. Huh.
And wear it regularly.
Funny how that works. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, my AirPods doesn't fall out. The other thing as well is all you need is one fall for it to work, and they'll never take it off their wrist again.
Yep. Yep. We get that a lot. You know, it's funny how along those lines, in terms of just, there is an issue, I think, around simplicity as well. So this is your entire, what I'm holding up, the Kanaga watch, that's your entire medical alert device. You speak through the watch, it talks to you, the alerts come through the watch. Like, you don't have to worry about it. There's nothing else. You have to change the batteries. It comes with 4 rechargeable batteries, and you swap the batteries out, and it's just a easy process. So you never actually take the watch off your wrist to charge. You just swap out the batteries, and it's a really easy process. I mean, our 103-year-old wearer has been doing it for 3 years, you know, no problem. So it's a really easy process. But you know, when you do that, you know, you can wear it 24/7. You're not in a position where you have to worry about, you know, where did I put it? You know, where was it? And so we're just a better suited option, because someone doesn't have to think about whether they have it on or not. They just wear it and keep wearing it, and never have to worry about actually feeling unprotected. And that's great for themselves and great for the loved ones.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, interesting. I'm just laughing because I'm a person that has taken numerous falls. So
you know,
usually my husband's with me, so
right.
he picks me up.
What was interesting, I was going to say about simplicity, right? So Wirecutter, New York Times Wirecutter said we were the best on-the-go device. They they recommended a separate company for the device you have to wear at home, right? But what's interesting is they took a picture. If you're only at home, they recommend this. If you're at home and on the go, you recommend us.
Okay.
They took a picture for the article of the 2 recommended products. The picture has 5 items in it. Isn't that weird? Right? You have you only recommending two products, but there are 5 items.
Right.
Can I tell you why?
Because the other one has so many different things that you have to have.
So like you can either just wear the watch at home or outside, or if you want the other company's option, they have a pendant you can wear, but then you don't wear that to bed, so that when you go to bed, you then switch over to something you wear around your wrist. But of course, the wrist-based option doesn't have fall detection. And then, of course, because the wrist-based option doesn't have a communicator, whereas the pendant does, they have a separate communicator that you have to have in your house, like the older version. And of course, if you go to the bathroom at the middle of the night and you fall, they have a help button. So you can, so for the person that is basically homebound, they have to juggle and set up 4 products. Or they can just get our watch and they're all done. And it's set up for them before they actually get it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's yeah. You have to wonder sometimes where people's thinking is coming from.
Well, again, you know, these companies are very good at getting someone on the phone and telling them what they want to hear, feeding them the information that they think is the facts. And we're just trying to say, look, those aren't the facts, right? You can have a fall detection.
Anymore.
Yeah, you can have a fall detection device in the wrist. You don't have to take it off, and you know, you don't have to just choose to wear something around your neck. There are options, and once you figure out what's right for you, you can get what you need and not have to feel like you're being hard sold, which is really tough in this industry.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, just out of curiosity, how many other companies are there that are doing these, you know, multiple?
Oh, dozens. If you
really?
type into Google, like best medical alert device, best medical alert watch with fall detection, you'll see lots of companies out there. And there are lots of review sites as well that are trying to basically drive traffic to those sites. But I did want to give you a bit of advice about your husband, because you said he has an Apple Watch.
Yes.
Yeah. So the reason why our product doesn't have a touch screen, and why ours also is the viewing screen on the device is very large, white on black lettering. As you get older, it's harder to see color, particularly variations in color. So ours is really easy to tell the time and date, super simple and clear. But in addition, the touch screen becomes challenging because as you get older, as we all get older, you lose what's called your galvanic response. Now, again, I'm getting a little geeky here, so forgive me. But
that's okay. No, I like geeky, so go for it.
So as you get older, you become inherently dehydrated. And what that means is that the first things that get dehydrated are your fingertips. They start to wrinkle. When that happens, you lose the ability for your fingers to be recognized by a touch screen.
Yep.
So, right. So if you have anybody in your life who's trying to work a smartphone and is pushing on the icon and saying, "Hey, it's not working. It's not registering." That's because you're losing the galvanic response. Now try that on a device that's a fifth the size. It's even harder.
Yeah,
that's why people get. So the Apple Watch is really challenging for a lot of people as they get older to use. Very challenging to set up. And the most important thing is it only goes in terms of emergency response. It goes to in an emergency, assuming it catches the emergency, and the Apple Watch publicly says.
Issue, right?
Well, the Apple Watch publicly says that it only catches hard falls, and not all older adults fall hard. So we're a much more broad-based fall detection model than that, which is very comforting. But in the event of that happening, it goes to either your emergency contacts, who may or may not pick up, may not be awake at 3 a.m, and it goes to 911. Now, the challenge with 911 is that 911 services are different all throughout the country. And they're being overwhelmed by all of these false alerts that are coming from the Apple Watch, right? Because the Apple Watch is sending false alerts from ski resorts and from amusement parks. So if you're a 911 operator, you may not know the person's GPS location, depending on the technology they have. And if they can't get verification, you need help, they may not send help. It's not that they're bad, but they just don't, they're overwhelmed by the number of false alerts. So when you decide to get something that's a medical alert type of device, think about getting one that really is like the Kanaga watch and other products out there, is a monitored service. So the alert that goes from our watch to our monitored service, which is based in the US, that person who gets that alert is going to know who you are, going to know where you are. As I said, have all your emergency contacts, be able to tell EMS how to get into your house if you're unconscious and you have a lockbox. Like, it's a much more upscale or concierge type service where they know everything about you. And if you're in the worst case scenario, you're not responsive, they can still get you the help you need. If it only goes to 911, you know, that's just a more risky scenario because of the fact that 911 can be overloaded.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And the fact that 911, if you are non-responsive, 911 is not going to break your door down. You know, not in their job descriptions.
Yep.
even though they do it on TV, but so it's your protection is limited.
Yep. So I don't think I have I mean, I'm happy to answer any further questions you might have, but I really thank you for giving me the time to share this with your audience. I will say, lastly, I mean, you can go to our website, which is unaliwear.com, you know, UNALIWAR.com, unaliwear.com.
Okay.
But also we have a really good YouTube channel. So if you look up Unaliwear on YouTube, we actually have published what's called our Truth series. It's a 4-part series. Videos are about 8 to 9 minutes each.
Okay.
It's a 4-part series, and each one is the truth about the medical alert industry. You know, things that other companies won't tell you. And it's the truth about fall detection, the truth about it working in your home, the truth about whether you wear it or not, truth about their sales tactics. And as an example, if you provide a company in this industry with your phone number, they have the right to call you every day for 90 days. And our company doesn't do that. So,
oh my God.
So be prepared, you know, talk, you know, either yourself or your loved one, talk about, you know, what they are, how they're most likely going to use this product, where they're most likely to use the product, how they most likely want to wear this product. Like, have that information, have that conversation first. Get the person, the wearer, engaged in the process so they're an active participant in this decision. It'll make this much easier. And if they say they want to watch, I recommend that you seriously consider the Kanaga watch from Unaliwear because of the fact that it's really the only one that's designed for older adults. And along those lines, I mean, when this first came out, before she passed away, our founder's mom was the senior, in quotation marks, experience officer for the company. So, and we did about 4 focus groups with about 400 seniors around the country. So this was designed by independent seniors for independent seniors. So it's got a lot of intuitive features, and it lacks some complexity that it's thoughtfully designed with that audience in mind. And most of our wearers greatly appreciate that additional attention to detail.
I bet. So does it only come in one size, or is it like 2 sizes, you know, because women's wrists are a lot, usually, not always, mind you, but, you know, especially as they get older.
Yep. The back band, which is what connects the watch to the wrist.
Right.
That comes in small, medium, large, and extra large.
Oh, okay, good.
And so and it's adjustable after that. So it very much fits the wearer's wrist. And most people say, if you look at our reviews in the Better Business Bureau, Google, they're all saying that, like, I put it on and I kind of forget about it, which is really what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Otherwise, they'll take it off.
Right. The last thing I also want to say, again, just about our features, the watch is button activated. So just like what your mom had, there's the side button of the watch. There's only one button. You can push that to get help. It's fall detection activated. And then the third thing is it's also voice activated, which is unique.
Oh, yeah.
So what's really important is that, you know, some people don't want to wear anything to bed, right? They don't want to wear anything. They just can't sleep. So they can put their Kanaga watch on the bedside table. And if they get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and they fall, you know, within a certain amount of feet of the watch, they can still call out for help. Just like if there was there was like
Okay.
an Alexa in the room. It's the same thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they can still communicate through the watch, even if they're not wearing it, which is a huge additional
Wow.
benefit.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be for sure. Yeah, because I mean, not that people don't fall just getting out of bed, period, or getting into bed, but yeah, I would think that probably the larger percentage are walking to or walking back or in
It
the
can be.
bathroom itself.
Yep. In the end, we're in the business of peace of mind, right? Can we give the
Yeah.
wearer peace of mind? Can we give their loved one peace of mind? And we love we get calls, people calling us up all the time, thanking us. Again, the story I told you about the woman who, well, I kind of related to the story. She was at home. She was, on the second floor of her house, didn't know where her phone was, wanted to get the blankets in the top of the closet, but didn't want to shimmy up the step stool to get it. So she used the watch to call the monitoring center to have them call her daughter, who lived around the corner, to come over and get the blankets in the top of the closet. And so she called us up to thank us. And then the next call was from the daughter, almost in tears, thanking us because she's like, I now know my mom is wearing the watch. I can sleep at night. You've given me back the gift of sleep. And so how do you not want to come to work every day and do that all day long?
Make me cry.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. No, people are living older, are living longer now. And from my experience, most people think that, oh, I can still keep doing everything I've been doing. I mean, my mother, bless her heart, was driving until she was in her early 90s. And I wasn't going to get in her car.
Yep, I get it.
But she didn't have any accidents or anything, so I can't, but it's still, it's people's, I can't think of what the right word is, but it's what makes them feel good and feel better, thinking that they can still take care of themselves.
Yep. And I think it's important. And then unfortunately, I got to drop off for the next call, but I appreciate the time. But it's okay. We could talk about this for hours. So thank you for your thoughts and your attention and your interest for that, as well as for your listeners and viewers. Yeah, I mean, I think people just need to think about being prepared.
Yes.
The important thing about these devices, or particularly our device, is most people think about these devices about the loss of control. Right. But in reality, unless you're not responsive and alert, you're in control.
Yeah.
So you can, with our product, you can actually stop the alert at the watch level. If you don't do it at the watch level, it can get to the monitoring center. You can tell the agent I'm fine, nothing has to happen, or call my friend or neighbor to help me, or have my daughter come over and get the blankets on the top of the closet. Like, you're completely in control. You're in charge, unless you can't be in charge, in which case you need this.
Yes. You need it even more so. Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely. Okay, well, you need to go. Let me do my little usual wrap up. And thank you very much, Richard, for being on. Lots of
my pleasure,
very
Susan.
Good information. And let me say that neither of us are doctors, and this is not medical advice.
Can I just mention the website one more time, or are you going to post that?
Sure. Well, I'll put it in the show notes and everything, but not that people look at it, but yeah.
Okay. Well, so it's UNALIWEAR, Unaliwear.com.
Okay.
And you can also find Unaliwear on YouTube, and you can watch those truth videos. It might be really helpful too.
Yep, will do. Excellent. So let me go ahead and yep, there it is.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for being on.